Hey everyone, I'm Scott Stokely, and this is my tournament summary for the 2022 Belton Open DGPT Silver Series event. Remember, my tournament summaries are not going to be about me at all unless I'm relevant to the lead cards at the event or something crazy happens, which isn't going to usually be the case. So therefore, this is just about the tournament. There will be spoilers. If you're going to be watching coverage tomorrow, click off. But it's called a summary, so y'all know better. All right, got to start with the tournament itself. And if you've seen my other summaries, this is going to start to sound a bit redundant. The crew at Belton knocked it out of the park. I'm starting to feel like that's what I'm going to be saying at every one of these events. I mean, it makes sense. Like, you don't get to be part of the DGPT series simply by deciding you want to run a disc golf tournament and maybe you have a big sponsor. I mean, you had to establish yourself with a club and leadership and volunteers that know what they're doing and prove they know what they're doing. I don't care that it's redundant. I would be remiss if I don't thank them every single time, because none of this happens without you guys. The biggest compliment I can give to almost any tournament is that it was uneventful. It should be uneventful. The mechanics of the tournament should be going on behind the scenes, and the players get to step up to each shot and play the disc golf shot that's in front of them, knowing that everything's working back here out of sight. It was flawlessly. The rounds went off on time. The spotters knew where to stand. They knew what signals to give when. The people made sure that the gallery was where they should be, not just during MPO, but when MPO finished up, they took great care to immediately make sure everybody knew the FPO is still playing. Even though they were just the early cards, they're part of the DGPT tour. This isn't one person taking the reins. This is leadership, top down. This is a directive that every single player in the tournament is equal and should be treated as such. So, love it. Love the way everything went. A couple special things that I noticed out at this tournament. I'll try to point out the things that were special. One of them, there were bathrooms everywhere. Now, I'm going to speak as an old man and say, that matters. But I would also, dare I speak for an entire division and say, it matters. Like, that's important. That is a little detail that can literally ruin a tournament for somebody if that's not taken into account. But they did in Belton. I love the fact that on the wooded holes that are the hardest to spectate, I don't know how many hours this took, but they cleared out spectator areas for the wooded holes. You could stand at the bottom of the hill, watch the golf going on up above through the woods. This is not a little thing. If not for that, you watch the players, then they disappear into the woods and you check your phone. Ooh, so-and-so birdied. Then they come out of the woods again. That's not as much fun as getting to watch the whole round. Well, thanks to the crew at Belton, you could watch the whole round. One other thing, and this is just a matter of personal taste, but the players' party, I like no band. That's just me personally. Plenty of people are happy there's a band. It's not a right or a wrong way to do this, but I can go see a band every day of the week. I can listen to a band in my car on the way home. At the social event, I want to socialize. It's a lot easier to do without the live music. So me personally, maybe I'm just showing my age here. Kids today with your long hair and your rock and roll music, or I don't know what old people say, but maybe there's a little bit of that in there, but I like it better that way. I find it easier to socialize when I can hear the conversations I'm having. So thumbs up on that. The course. It's so hard. First off, everything was top notch. The OB lines were perfect. They were right where they needed to be to give you the option to be aggressive or to be conservative. Tighter OBs, everyone's being conservative. Weaker OBs, everyone's being aggressive, and they've basically irrelevant. But the OBs were placed in a way where you had to make a decision. That's golf. In my mind, you should have to make a decision on every tee pad on a perfect hole. And so they did that. One of the things that, again, there's not a right or a wrong, it's completely subjective, but there were a number of baskets up on top of mounds, meaning you could hit, you could roll away, you could definitely get bad breaks because you missed your putt an inch low, it hits, it rolls to the bottom. I don't like luck on holes at all. I like the holes up on mounds, especially on a course where some of the holes don't have as many obstacles by the putting area. I don't like a wide open putting area. To me, a wide open, unobstructed putting area would be like if you were playing ball golf on a perfectly flat green. If there's no challenges around the hole, I think the hole lacks something. Now, there is a randomness, an element of luck involved when you put a basket on top of a mound, but I'm one of those guys, and I know half the players or more on tour are gonna disagree with me if they watch this video, but you could always lay up. You could always make that choice. If you get a roll away, it starts with the decision. I'm going to take the calculated risk that I might face bad luck, because if I lay up, I won't. And again, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's certainly just my opinion. I like the holes on mounds. There's one long hole in the woods that could probably lose a couple trees. It's kind of a lucky hole. That's about the only flaw in the course that I found. And it's still a very good hole, but it just has an element of luck. You know, I would take luck off the holes like that. Okay. The thing that this course, like the winner of this tournament kind of was the course, and I'll explain why in a minute. So starting off in the women's division, Alexis Mandujano got off to a hot start. She did not play well after her first round. She'll be back many times. She's one of the just like up and coming young stars of our sport. Next time she's in that position, she'll be more familiar. She'll get used to it. She'll be fine. But her sister had a couple hot rounds and came back to push Katrina Allen and Kristen Tatar. I think they finished within a stroke of each other by the end of the round. Katrina Allen, one of the cool things to see from someone as talented as Katrina is the evolution of her putting. Something that had been a struggle at times in the past. It didn't feel like there's this struggle that she had before. When she steps up to putt now, I'm thinking, there's one of the top couple disc golf FPO in the world. You know, she's going to make that putt. I mean, we all miss some, but it doesn't feel shaky. I mean, she feels confident. The final hole of the tournament, in fact, she had a tricky upshot. She threw an excellent upshot to get like 15 feet away, but 15 feet away in a pretty steady headwind to win the tournament. She misses it. She's in a three-way tie for first. I don't care that it's 15 or 14 feet. In a headwind to win the tournament, not a tap-in, and she steps up and bangs it dead center, no doubt about it. So I think that's probably the story of the FPO, is that Katrina is as good as she has been for years. I think her game is still evolving and she's still getting better. Now, in MPO, Bladder from Iceland, I'm so sorry. By the way, he says you're welcome to call him Blair. Coolest kid on tour. Maybe the nicest kid you're going to meet on tour. Gets off to a hot start. Kind of did what Alexis did. And same thing happened. Second round, didn't play so well. I think he's very disappointed in how he finished the tournament. He shouldn't be. He had a great tournament. He finished multiple strokes above the cash line. He played excellent. Same exact story. Next time he's in that position, he's not going to have a problem. Next time he's going to say, oh, it's just like Belton. Oh, I got through it. And I expect, well, him and Alexis, I expect big things from. They're both young. Scary how good they are at their age. Not a problem. They're going to be up there. Paul and Ricky, go figure, they tied. They pushed Chris Dickerson, forced Chris to play, survive, at least play a solid round of golf on the final day. He couldn't tank and win. They're always in the hunt. I mean, I think that's got to be a terrifying feeling. Like, I don't care how many strokes you have, when you look back and it's Paul and Ricky that are right there on your tail. It's like, Jesus Christ. You know, Calvin and Eagle, and I mean, all being so many good players. Nico LaCastro, who's playing really top golf right now as well. Scary, which just shows how scary good Chris Dickerson is, which just brings me back to what I said about the course. This is why the course was almost a winner this tournament. After 2 rounds, no FPO players shot 2 hot rounds. And in MPO, of all the MPO players, only one in the entire MPO field had 2 hot rounds, which was Chris Dickerson. And he got off to a big lead after 2 rounds. But that's the entire tournament. One person was able to get hot and sustain for 2 rounds. The course kind of won. I mean, the course was 1 player shy of nobody having a hot round or having 2 hot rounds, which is, crazy. Now, I know it was windy and stuff, but it's a testament to just how challenging this course is. Which, by the way, interesting, like, if it wasn't windy, it's a scoreable course. Like, this is one of those courses where I think the wind makes it a far better course. You can play pretty darn aggressive with no wind, but with the wind, like, you kind of can't, or you can, but when you do, only 1 player out of the entire field has 2 hot rounds. The big thing for Chris Dickerson, I think that was so cool, is that he had 2 awful final holes in Waco. And then for him to finish out the way he did in Waco and do the literal exact opposite just a couple days later, like, that's what a professional athlete does. Pulled it together, regrouped, didn't phase him a bit. I mean, I don't think anybody thought it would. Stepped up, smashed it. So Chris Dickerson, he won by, I think, 3 strokes. It wasn't that close. He ran away with it. He truly did. Chris Dickerson, hats off to you. Congratulations. You're a cool dude, and you absolutely deserve this victory. That's my did I say pre? I am not retaking this whole video. That is my post-tournament summary. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll be doing this every single tournament, but yeah, everything with Belton was perfect. And I'm not going to talk about me at all this video. I cashed.